Good morning. It's time for another episode of Discipleship Today. My name is Bob Benson. I'm the pastor of Christ Lutheran Church in Bemis Point, New York. We've been using the book of John as a discipleship text just because of the special relationship that John seemed to have with Jesus. They were reclining at the table, and who was it that leaned back against Jesus was John. John was a young disciple. We think not much more than a teenager, and he had this bond with Jesus. He went everywhere. He was one of the inner three. Peter, James, and John went everywhere with Jesus, and so inside this special relationship, as John records in his gospel, he often refers to himself in the third person as that disciple that Jesus loved, and we're going to see another sense of that today. We're in John 18, verses 19 through 24. I'm just going to go ahead and read this, and then we're going to go back and talk about it. The high priest then questioned Jesus about his disciples and his teaching. And Jesus answered him, "I have spoken openly to the world. I have always taught in the synagogues and in the temple, where all the Jews come together. I have said nothing in secret. Why do you ask me? Ask those who have heard me what I said to them. Then know what I said." When he had said these things, one of the officers standing by struck Jesus with his hand, saying, "Is that how you answer the high priest?" Jesus answered him, "If what I said is wrong, bear witness about what is wrong. But if I said what is right, why do you strike me?" Annas then set him out, bound to Caiaphas, the high priest. We had talked about Caiaphas and Annas being the high priest, and which one was really the high priest and which one wasn't. And it was such a political mess in the first century in Israel. But this high priest questions Jesus about his disciples and about his teaching. The high priest, if he really wanted to know about his disciples and about his teaching, he could have gone to the synagogue and just listened to him. There was nothing that Jesus ever hid from anybody. It wasn't a secret. What he was preaching and what he was teaching was readily available. If they wanted to charge him with something, why didn't they just go listen to him and see what he had said wrong? And that's what this whole thing was about. Had he spoken wrong? Had he spoken wrongly? He was doing the right things for the right reasons. And he said, "You're here to bear witness about what I've said that's wrong." Here was a perfect opportunity for them to bring up their charges against Jesus. But see, in it lies a problem. They hadn't made up the charges against Jesus yet. They were still trying to find fault with him as they brought him into this court, this kangaroo court. There's a lot of times when we'll be accused of doing wrong things for the wrong motives. And what we have to remember is if we're doing everything above board and we're doing what God has told us is right, that we shouldn't really worry about that. And in his disciple making, Jesus and John was watching this whole thing, and Jesus was doing what was right. And we've got to do the right things for the right reasons. During this time of COVID and the shutdown and everything that goes with it, we wear a mask, not out of fear, but out of love. There are people that are afraid. And because I love people, I'll wear a mask for them. I'm not afraid. Matter of fact, we don't live in fear, but we do live in a way that we can show our love for one another, and especially those outside of the church. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to love on them. How will the world know that we are his disciples? By our love, not by our condemning attitudes, not by our open rebellion to what people have asked us to do, but by our love. I'm not afraid of this virus. I'm not afraid of dying. But I love people enough to show them that if they are afraid, I can respond to that. And so for discipleship today, I'm going to encourage you to do the right things for the right reasons. Never do anything in secret, and just be above board in all your dealings. And encourage your disciples and your disciple makers to be the same. So for Discipleship Today, my name is Bob Benson. Thank you.